This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Look out, golden years, the boomers are coming.
We expect and demand to live longer, better.
Baby food for adults? Can it? Homes not senior friendly? Fix them. Neighbors gone? Build new communities.
They decided they were going to be the architects of their own aging process.
The next generation of older adults are actually in better health than any previous generation.
And they want businesses to meet their needs now.
I've dedicated my career to helping seniors in transition.
Plus, taking a loved one home from the hospital can seem scary.
Some of these folks are saying, you know what, I'm pretty overwhelmed.
Why the AARP fought to bring caregivers relief. The new aging, next on Chronicle.
Good evening, everyone. By 2016, it's projected that 1/4 of the U.S. population will be 65 or older. The graying of America is well underway, and Joe Coughlin says it's time to embrace it, as Ted Reinstein explains.
And unfortunately, when we think about old age, we have typically talked about the needs. Apparently, at a certain point, we have no wants. We have no desires. We only have needs. And by the way, all of them revolve around, did you take your medication today?
A recent symposium at MIT featuring Dr. Joseph Coughlin, head of the prestigious MIT Age Lab, the gathering in honor of Coughlin's new book, The Longevity Economy.
Business has totally missed the mark. Imagine this. The 50 plus make up 70% of the disposable income in the United States. And here are some of the things that we've come up with. We've come up with retirement communities that are far away from anything having to do with life. Heinz, the company, came up with Senior Foods, which was a translation of baby food into the same baby jars. And even Amazon had stores such as the 50 Plus store, which in many ways resembled going into a porno shop. No one wanted to be seen going into a store that said old man or old woman shopping. So these ideas of what we have around old age and what those people want have been missing the mark for decades.
Coughlin says businesses will be forced to refocus now that the vast graying of America has begun. The U.S. Census Bureau predicts that by 2060, people 65 and older will go from just 15% to a full quarter of the population, which means it might be seniors who will be calling the cultural shots.
The baby boomers were the ones who taught business to go after the youth. So as a result, business is still looking at those 18 to 30-year-old folks, when in fact is a female. A middle-aged to older woman is going to be the lifestyle leader of new technologies, new services, and in fact, she makes the majority of buy decisions in the home and in the store already.
Coughlin says it's ironic that so many services and technologies designed for the youth market are now consumed so eagerly by older folks. Companies like Uber, Blue Apron, Amazon, all helping seniors remain independent, which is great news for their adult children who may not need to worry quite so much about them.
One of the last things that any parent of any age wants is to have their children worry about them. And the good news is the following. The next generation of older adults are actually in better health than any previous generation. They may have more chronic conditions, but they're better managed. We have technologies at our disposal today that allow us to stay safe, healthy, and engaged that our parents and grandparents could not even envision. But probably the big difference in the longevity economy, the next generation of retirees or older adults, we have expectations. We expect and demand to live longer, better, and we have the education, and many of us have the money to make sure it happens.
While it's true that depression still plagues many older Americans, Coughlin maintains the boomer generation is nonetheless finding new ways to have fun that don't necessarily mean moving to a sunshine state.
By the time we're 50, most of us want to what we call age in place. That's fancy jargon for by the time you're 50, your marriage, your mortgage, and your memories are in one place. 90% of us choose to remain in the house that we live in our 50s and 60s. While there's this vision of moving to Florida or Arizona, very few people do that, and frankly, many of them ricochet right back to where they were before. So as a result, we have to start thinking of how do we redesign not just our houses, but our communities that are connected and fun and provide transportation alternatives. So aging in place is more than just about your house. It's about living in communities that excite and delight and keep you engaged.
And Dr. Coughlin says that within just a few years, the vast majority of older people will be experienced users of technology, which will help them live independent lives. He's especially confident that once autonomous cars become widely used, seniors will be on the go even more than they are now. Coming up, she found a community taking on aging head first.
They were taking into their own hands their future.